Okay, so I just saw Until Dawn, the newest offering from Sony's PlayStation Productions. Basically their own little side company made for adapting PlayStation properties into movie and TV. Admittedly, they've had a slightly rocky track record in my opinion. A lot of their TV shows have been pretty good. I was actually surprised at how well Twisted Metal turned out, and The Last of Us has been a really good drama so far, but their movies haven't been great. In fact, I would say they started pretty badly with that Tom Holland Uncharted movie, which was just dreadfully boring. And from there, I'd say they only moved up to alright. That Gran Turismo movie from 2023 that nobody seems to remember other than me. But continuing that upward trend, Until Dawn is actually pretty good. It's easily the best of these PlayStation movies. Not great by any metric, but so far their best attempt yet at adapting one of these games to film. You see, what's interesting about this movie is rather than adapting the game's plot one for one, the movie goes in its own direction in terms of story. We meet a new character named Clover, played by Ella Rubin, who is on a journey of self-discovery a year after her sister Melanie disappeared while on the way to New York. Along for the ride are a bunch of her friends, including Megan, who's a self-proclaimed psychic, Max, who's Clover's ex-boyfriend, who might be trying to strike their relationship back up, Nina, another one of Clover's childhood friends, and Abel, Nina's kind of self-serving, dickish boyfriend. They all go out to this abandoned house after Clover gets a hint that her sister might be there, only for it to be a trap when they end up stuck with a serial killer. So far, basic slasher stuff, right? However, the big twist on the formula is that every time they die, the night resets and they have to survive till morning, or, survive until dawn, get it, to finally escape the house and get away. So in essence, what the movie is essentially trying to adapt is going down different routes in a branching story, and Clover is essentially trying to get the perfect ending when her and all of her friends survive, just like how in the game, the player can take different story routes and try to save every character to get a good ending. It's honestly a pretty smart conceit, not only because of the parallels to the game, also for the fact that it allows the filmmakers to make as many gruesome kills as they want and not have to write the characters out of the story afterwards, which is an opportunity that the filmmakers gleefully take advantage of. Deaths are so over-exaggerated that the movie almost feels like it's veering into horror comedy at times, especially as the film progresses and the sets almost start to take on the qualities of a universal haunted house or a local haunted barn ride in a way that almost feels intentionally silly. In fact, I would say the movie in general is clearly inspired by Cabin in the Woods, and director David F. Sandberg does a good job of riding the line between frightening and funny. Not to mention the visual effects really help sell the sheer violence of some of these kills. The opening deaths are just brutal and the film ratchets up from there, though I do kind of feel like it peaks somewhere in the middle act. Not to say the third act of the film isn't gory, but I do think the movie throws out its best stuff just a little too early. And if I had any real complaints, it was mainly with the acting. To some extent, it feels like the actors are purposely trying to be corny, the parody, the subpar acting you would sometimes see in cheap slasher flicks of the 80s and 90s, but every performance in the film ultimately goes a little too far into the camp, and that makes it hard to take any of them seriously when they're doing dramatic scenes, which isn't helped by the fact that it's pretty obvious to tell where the story is going. I won't spoil anything, but there is a character from the game, and even if you haven't played Until Dawn, you'll probably be able to put together their true identity and what their actual goals are pretty quickly. There's also a small twist that ends up becoming a plot point in Clover's story that is, again, pretty easy to see coming if you think about it for even a few minutes and know anything about the monster that both the film and the games use. It's nothing that took me out of the film, and even the movie itself eventually just tells you what's going on during the second half, but it's a tad predictable in some respect, which can be a bit of a letdown for me since I love a good mystery, but it ultimately doesn't detract from the movie all that much, so it's not a huge deal. Overall, I found myself enjoying Until Dawn a lot more than I thought I would. This is easily the best of the PlayStation Productions movies. As I said, these movies kind of started with a low bar with Uncharted and have slowly but surely been working up in quality, and Until Dawn is the first one that I would actually call good enough that I could recommend seeing it in the theaters. Go give this film a watch, especially if you have some friends in a mostly empty theater where you can riff on it a little without disturbing anybody, or if you want to wait for the digital release, then this works very well as a double feature with Cabin in the Woods, since they're both these really funny, not so serious riffs on the horror genre that'll leave a smile on your face by the time you're done, especially if you're a horror aficionado. Yeah, that's about all for now. Good film, go see it, don't get spoiled, and thanks for coming by Krank's Quick Stops. I can't wait to see you again, and always remember to crank up the noise.